Hello. 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 How are we doing? Minister Army sound. Oh, I'm back. I've got a little bit more colour on my face as well today. You probably noticed I've changed my camera a little bit, make it look a bit more authentic. This is what I normally look like, to be fair. How are we doing? Ethereum breaking 2k. It would be funny enough to talk about altcoins, wouldn't it? Which is kind of the plan in terms of where we go next. What do we do now? Hello from Ireland. Is it raining? It's raining where I am. I'm not that far away from Ireland, to be fair. Anyways, on the screen is Learning Crypto Premium. There's a link. Well, I say there's a discount code above if you want to get in. 50% off for 3 months. It is a bargain. Oh God, this is a microphone, not a tie. Who would wear a tie with a white polo shirt? Probably me, actually. Don't even know if I've got a tie laying around, actually. Used to. Got rid of a lot of them. But yeah. So, let's talk about stuff. The greed, 61. Ooh, hello. Is it time to pull the rug? There was a couple of rug pulls, actually, yesterday. Was it OX Encrypt or something? Can't remember. That one, apparently there was a gambling addiction by the founder, which is so ironic being in the degen side of it, where it is literally we are, well, I say we, I don't participate, but it's gambling, let's be fair. How do you spend your crypto without being eaten alive? Don't use Ethereum is usually the thing. I'm quite lucky, like I use Swissborg anyways for my withdrawals, and now they've got USDC with Polygon and Avalanche, so it's like cheap now, or cheaper at least, so that makes life a bit easier. So yeah, we'll see how. Stop trying to wind me up by asking me questions about what do I think about coins, because I'm just gonna ignore them. Look at you, you're all bastards. I'm gonna ignore you all. I just use my bank. If I ever do it, so what I do, I just put my money into Swissborg, convert it to pounds, and put it into my bank and use it normally. Because I used to use like Plutus card, and then I remember spending not massive amounts of money on it, but enough. And then I did my tax report, and it all came back as like double spend. I was like, oh crap. So you did like a tax event for converting, and then you did a tax event for getting the rewards itself. It's like, oh, for God's sake. So I kind of gave up with it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, not fun. Anyways, if you're wondering about tomorrow, the markets are shut, I think, 6 o'clock today. So they're not open as long today because it is Independence Day tomorrow. So it may be a bit of a weird, very weird week this week. But there's a lot of things happening. We've also got non-farm payroll, so be mindful of that. But let's be honest. Let's talk about other things. So, should we talk about altcoins and BTC? We're stabilizing, right? So, I know I said this a few months ago, expect an alt season at some point, and we will get one. It's just a matter of when. We'll see how things go. Now, the reason why I talk about this is because dominance is growing a lot. It will correct. Ethereum dominance is pretty strong today. Ethereum's looking relatively strong versus BTC as well. But BTC is actually staying still. This is the premise of it. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, alt season. But they do happen quite a few times a year, but you sometimes miss them because the dollar value of your BTC is also the dollar value, obviously, of your altcoins as well. If BTC does crap and the altcoins do crap, it's going to hurt. But sometimes your altcoins will beat BTC and you won't notice it, which is usually the worst part of it. So, with this BTC price, with the monthly close, it's actually relatively good. Let's talk about it. The monthly close we talked about in the last live stream, and it kind of went a bit, went a bit wobbly at one point, but it actually held relatively okay. We were looking a little bit ugly at one point, but it recovered because we had a lot of contract swaps and stuff like that. However, let's see where we go next. Have we had the impulse? Have we had the pullback? And we're going to go next? Higher, maybe? Or we stay still and chill out and relax. I personally prefer the latter, and I would like it to chill out and relax. It's consolidating. Whether this is a bullish consolidation or not, I don't know. But let's talk about it. Altcoins, BTC dominance. Now, I did this on the last live stream. You probably remember it. If we do a little correction down to like, say, 47, 46, maybe a little bit lower, who knows? It will be quite nice for altcoins to eventually bounce. Now, to some people, it's like, oh, whatever, who cares? But the thing is, when we look at a lot of these altcoins at these low levels, they will bounce at some point and they will do a bearish retest. And that bearish retest, even if this is like Cardano, for example, and it doesn't look like much, but a 28% push to the upside in BTC pairs is actually quite a lot, especially if BTC remains at a good solid price or if it goes higher, which could be very, very tasty for a lot of altcoins. So you all know my fundamental element of how to buy a coin, buy levels of support, and all of these little levels here, these bearish little, they're like mini alt seasons. Now this is why you buy levels of support, because you've got more to play with if things go the right way. Sometimes they're bigger than others, but the reality is, right, all these little pushes are quite nice, and they are levels of support at the end of the day, but it is a downtrend. So we're going to be very, very careful with where we put our money. This is why I keep saying to people, and I repeat, buy support, don't buy resistance, because if you buy in one of these toppy areas and you just, it's horrible, right? And it's the same for a lot of assets. They all look very much the same. But as you can see, look at the, the dominance side of it, right? That is still going up. So essentially, as you know, with the dominance indicator, if this is going up, it's bad. If it's going down, it's good. That is a BTC pairs. We may well find it go and retest at EMA 55, and it then becomes a little bit of a green light for a little bit, for a short period of time. But we'll see. But yeah, as people say in the chat, we'll see what happens. 35% BTC dominance would be very nice, wouldn't it? Imagine 52 down to 35. Down here somewhere. New low. But that's like a multi-cycle macro thing. That'll take time to do that. Do I think it'll go higher? I don't know. We'll see. Possibly. I could see us going in between this box somewhere, around where all this noise is. Probably around here somewhere. But I think above that, it will start getting very sticky and it won't move as much, which will probably piss a lot of people off. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. But at the end of the day, though, we've got to kind of be wary of these situations, certainly when we look at dominance and stuff. But other than that, could be a lot worse. Realistically, it could be a lot worse. I think we're doing okay. It's kind of a given, but going back to previous cycles, this reminds me of 2019 very much, because BTC is like taking all the plaudits, but Ethereum is very different this time around. I mean, look at Ethereum, right? It's like still up here. A lot of people are calling for Ethereum to go down to like 10%. Maybe in the bull cycle, it may go that low for the first time, because all the altcoins will kind of go against it. Maybe not down to 10%. That's probably very, very ambitious, but you get the idea, as it could go up and then it could go back down. So we'll see how things go. But this is all if, buts, maybes, and all kinds of stuff. We'll see. But yeah, when we're looking at altcoins, though, it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad. Yeah, a lot of Ethereum is locked, to be fair. That's a good point. I'm not going to be willing to sell it at these prices, I don't think. I'm a holder of Ethereum. I'm quite happy to stake it. I've been buying bits of Ethereum for the last, well, I've not bought it for a while, but I bought quite a lot of it at the start of the year when it was a lot lower. Very much happy with my position. I was buying down in like January, December sort of time. Didn't really get an optimum level, but I had a really good trade at this point and I made a bit, and then I rebought back towards the end of January. So I'm kind of floating around this area here as my main order. But at the same time, though, if it goes to like $4,000 or $5,000, I'm quite happy. Very happy. If you're not yet liked this video, please do. Thanks. Get over 100 likes this time. You think the next cycle might be slow due to possibly. But then again, we thought that last time. And it wasn't a slow cycle, it was a relatively quick cycle. Once it goes, it goes. You know, regardless of the BTC dominance, it's the hype, it's the transition from BTC to altcoins. Then the altcoins have been slapped so hard, there's liquidity gaps, and those liquidity gaps will eventually get bought up, and then you'll start seeing those 10% moves most days. Like, oh my God. And then everyone gets really excited and going, hey, let's go. And then it's like, oh my God. But But yeah, I think it's hard to say, it's hard to predict, but we are, by the grain of it, let's talk about it, kind of copying what has happened. Now, I don't think we're going to go this high because the market is very different. You know, Ethereum dominance is still 20%. Stable currency dominance is 10, 11%, give or take. Maybe probably lower than that. Oh, no, what is it? Oh, nearly just under 10. So that's already 30%. So we're never going to get to 70 odd, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely doable. But we'll see. I still personally believe we'll have to retest the lows. Yeah, I kind of on that situation as well with potential lows. This is why I've said to people I'm buying support levels and I'm happy to be as low as I possibly can, but most importantly be staking. If it goes lower, it goes lower, I buy more. If it doesn't, I'm in. So it's that sort of situation regardless. But when we look at previous cycles, you know, boom, down. Obviously, we had this little run and then we melted. So June, July, we're obviously past that point now. And then we melted and then there was obviously the COVID crash. And then we went vroom. So we have kind of followed a part of it in terms of we've had a year down. We've had a bit of a consolidation. We've had a bit of a pump up as well. But we'll see. How long the bull cycles take? It depends. It's usually at the minute a 4-year cycle. And it tends to, as I said in the chat, it tends to correlate between the BTC halving and every halving tends to be a presidential election. So with that eyeballs and the macro side of it and the financial institutions want to have a strong bullish market for their elections, it tends to work pretty well. So the next halving is in April next year, obviously. The data that I've got on Learning Crypto, so bear with me, I'll show you. I did an article on it very, very recently regarding, there we go, why does Bitcoin prices always go up every Bitcoin halving? So there's an article here where it shows you what the prices do. So give you an idea, this is May 2020. At the start of it was 8,400. 100 days later, it was up a little bit more. And then a year later, it was massively inflated. If we go back in time, similar sort of situation where it starts off, we have a bit of hype, then it melts a little bit. And then a year later, it's way higher in price. Obviously, if we're looking at this, that's only a year later. You think, 18 months later, it was 20 grand. And again, same with this. It went to 69. So it's all good data and good information. But when you look at the factors of trends and the patterns, it's interesting. So the next one, as we know, 2024, we'll see. So this will be getting added to as things happen. But this is a term that I love to use, absolute scarcity. So when you add the recipe of, people always say 2025, 2026, after the halving, that could be interesting. But obviously halving's a lot earlier this time. It's, it gets earlier every time. So maybe 2024 could be a very, very interesting year to see where we are. But it may not happen again. We may not get, this is the thing. As much as I say cycles last every 4 years and things happen, and the same with altcoins that have cycles too, these little alt seasons, it may not always, it depends on what's happening with the market. It depends on fear and greed. It depends on what's happening. There might be something that really badly goes wrong. It may never happen. So we've got to all be kind of prepared for certain situations just in case things go wrong. But for me, personally, I would rather be exposed than not be exposed. That's my game. Because maybe I am in a fortunate position as an investor and being in the previous cycle and having profit. I could put my profit into the market. Some people aren't. Some people can't do that. So my risk profile is very different to most people. So this is why I said to people 7-8 months ago, pretty much even longer than that on my Patreon, I was like, I'm buying because I'm happy to buy. I want to stake, and I've been staking pretty aggressively. Realistically, I've literally been all in on staking because I know the prices are low. I'm not going to get caught out. Whereas obviously people went all in staking when the prices were high and got caught out where they got the lockups and stuff. So got to be somewhat careful, but everyone's different, right? But when we look at BTC, there's a long way to go, in my opinion. And I don't want to sound too dramatic, but I mean, I'll be honest, right? I'm going to say it now. I believed at that bear cycle in 2019 when we went down to stupid levels, or even actually 2018, and we were down at 3K, I very openly said, and this was when I was like literally building the company in cryptocurrency, learning crypto, still here, still doing well. I was openly saying, I think 20k is not going to happen again. I thought it was a freak because CME futures came out, all that kind of stuff happened. And obviously things changed, right? And then look at what happened. Went all the way up to $69,000, right? It's crazy. Now, I'm not going to try and put things in people's heads and stuff because I don't think that's right. And it's definitely not financial advice. But if we are looking at a retracement and we're going to new extensions and we do hit 100k, it'll be absolutely mental to think, wow, I didn't really want to buy at 20k because I thought it was going to go lower. Or I didn't really want to back my altcoins because I thought it was going to go lower. That's why I want to be exposed, because this market does the absolute mentalness. It's like crazy and it catches everyone out. And yeah, when you think I decided to start a company at like these doldrum levels was a bit freaking mental, but it worked out in the end, let's be fair. But yeah, the cycles are currently following the history, and that's all as analysts can do is go off the past and the past data. So yeah, it's madness really. Oh shit, I'm dribbling on myself. Oh my god, I'm 32 years of age and I still can't drink out of a bottle. Christ. But yeah, that's my fault on it really, but we've got to look at BTC dominance now as a bit more of a when retracement sort of vibes, because if altcoins do, and it's only a relationship between the altcoins at historic levels of lows and BTC chilling out, and it's obviously going to come back down. But there's a lot of people talking a lot of fear all over the place at the minute, thinking, oh my god, they're going to go up. But they might do, don't get me wrong, but I'll just buy more because that's just the way I am. You got to be in it to win it. And again, stable currency dominance, this is another thing I've kind of glanced over, but this is in a downtrend. If this melts down to 8%, what's going to happen? Well, money from altcoins is going to get obviously bought up via stable currency, so it's going to get less and less. So people will be jumping in. So I've mentioned before in previous videos, we've got three types of people. You got us, my diehards. You got the people that are kind of loosely involved in the market and kind of been in the market before and can jump back in. And then you got the new people. You're going to start getting to a point where Bitcoin and Ethereum, some altcoins will hit a certain price and people come back to the market. And then you get the points where it goes really high and then the newbies come in. And then it will just get sent even higher. That always happens, but I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon. Let's put it that way. But this is in a downtrend. If this goes down to like this level here, could be interesting. Depends what Bitcoin does. So that could mean Bitcoin's gone much higher. Could mean that altcoins have caught up with Bitcoin, which it could do. Because Bitcoin could stay still, altcoins could catch up and it go back down to say 43, 44%. And the market looks a lot nicer. But it's a Bitcoin show at the minute. A lot of newbies did get owned. Newbies get owned anyways. I did when I first started. Like my first 2 years in the market, I got absolutely pummeled by the market. You have to learn. You've got to get your stripes really. And I say this to all my members on Patreon. I say it in Learning Crypto. Get your first cycle out of the way, figure it out, and then learn fear and greed. That's all you need. You need to learn whether it's fear and greed, supply and demand, whatever it may be. You want to know it as. It's once you start seeing the telling signs that, hold on a minute, this is going to probably turn around. Hold on a minute, that's probably not going to bounce. You get the idea. You know, a lot of people do think like you've probably seen my tweets. I've been talking about, I've been open saying, why are people not buying? Why are people scared of buying at historic levels of support? What's happened? We've bounced off pretty much every single support right now. It becomes intuition at the end of the day because it's experience, right? But it's about bugging out as well when you're buying them. So obviously buy low, sell high. Even if you're building the position over time and then selling a part of it and then to rebuy back low, that's a really positive step, but not everyone can do it. It gets a lot harder. If BTC goes low, what price do you think it will go? I honestly don't know. Bitcoin surprised me this year. It really has. It's absolutely surprised me. I mean, most of my investment recipe is literally using this stable currency dominance and this in terms of EMAs, in terms of strength. And we've been above this properly for a long time, like both of them, like since January, apart from obviously this little mini correction here. But when you look on the weekly time frame, it's been really solid. It's like, wow, you've done well, mate. Well done. But for me, it would depend on so many factors. Like, we've had a lot of FUD down to 24,000 levels, right? 24,700 or whatever, 800 levels, which is fair enough for obvious reasons. And this was when Binance was going to get shut down, Coinbase was going to get shut down, other exchanges, Gensler was going to, bloody get rid of us. Mental, right? And we went to there, and now we're at 30 odd K, nearly 31K again. It's like mad. So we've got to do it step by step. This is still a bit of an uptrend. It's not the perfect uptrend on a 3-day time frame. The monthly looks a lot better, but we'll see. You've got to get below 25K. Got to fully close below 25K, and then you got 20K. 20K will be a monster level. You can see it already. It's already there, but step by step. I don't know how low it can go, but we'll see. I never said Polkadot can't go above 100. I did the opposite. Actually, I said it could. I can't remember the words that I used, but I think in my video I said 250 is like the mental level. I don't think that will happen. I think over 100 probably could happen by the fact that they've got 44 parachains now versus 0 in the previous cycle. All that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more network effect. There's a lot more governance, a lot more staking rewards there. Because remember, Polkadot is relatively still a new project. Even now, it's still a new project versus the likes of, say, Ethereum, for example, or even XRP, etc., who have done mental gains. So had that one run from an opening price of roughly $5 when it came out to $55 in a bull cycle, it's not bad, but it could be better. So same with all the other parachains. They came out at the worst possible times. If those parachains came out 6 months earlier, it would be a very different story, I think, for the parachains. Could be a lot worse, actually, in all fairness. It could have got really caught up in the emotions and it could have plummeted, but who knows? We'll see. But yeah, staking isn't too bad on it. I wouldn't worry about rebuying back with profit and trying to screw yourself over. The game is to get as many units as possible. That's it. Like, don't worry about the dollar value of it. Just worry about how many units you're getting. Because the reality is, right, if you got 1,000 Cardano and you make 3 times the amount in USD value at the time, for example, and then you can keep a lot of that and then you can rebuy back much lower, the amount of units you can make from literally doing nothing and not having extra money added to it is the one that you need to do. You need to build. Most of my bags were built like that, just over time. And literally even this cycle, it's like sold in October, November, December time. Previous cycle, not perfect tops, but near enough. And then I just waited until literally FTX blew up, really. It's pretty good. NIA depends. I hope so. I got a lot of NIA. NIA, again, is another one of those projects where it's building well, it's doing good things, it got a lot of hype, and it's crumbled. Now, there's 3 reasons, kind of, why this has fallen. 1, due to the previous price. Got a lot of hype. 2, FTX. A lot of the thumbs and the fingers in a lot of those pies were a lot of the FTX collateral damage, essentially, that allowed this to go pretty much belly up pretty quickly. Now, this really did get hurt at this time period, right? You can see that it's ugly. Obviously, here the whole market was a bit shit. Obviously, with the Luna situation too. But again, it's been classed as a security. But it's got a really good roadmap. It's got a really good network effect. It's really efficient, fast. It's got a good team behind it. It's doing all right, to be fair. The staking rewards are good. But again, it's not a massively old token. It's relatively new-ish. It's not got a lot of time in. But the reality is, going to $20 again, it's definitely not impossible. But it depends on how it recovers. Now, this could be like Cardano. Cardano was very, very similar to this, where it came out kind of in the hype cycle of the bull cycle. It melted down from $1.31 or something stupid like that down to like 2-3 cents, which is crazy in itself, right? So this is very, very similar sort of percentage levels. Actually, probably nowhere near as bad, actually. Bear with me. I say that. What are we at? 92% down. 94, give or take, from low to high. I think Cardano and stuff like that went down to like 98%. That's crazy. So yeah, 98% down. If you think about Cardano in the previous cycle, then what did it do? It went way beyond its all-time high. So yeah, a lot of coins have those sort of vibes at the minute where they're still working. They're not dead. They're just, the music stopped and people have walked away. But the volume, actually, let's have a look at the volume on Nia. It's not that far away from where we are. There we go. Rank 38. Still got 60 million volume, so it's definitely not dead. You know, it's not doing too bad. But yeah, it'll be absolutely fine. Got to be in it to win it. That's kind of the policy, innit? But I understand that a lot of people are new. I understand that a lot of people have never really bought at the functioning market lows of a bear cycle. And then it gets really quite, ooh. You get that stomach kind of churn thinking, well, you've been told to buy low as you possibly can, but you've already kind of bought levels much higher and you're like, oh, this is a bit shit. You kind of lose heart very, very quickly. Hello, Flames. How are we going? To be fair, I need a dollar cost average a bit more, my Nia. I've not bought for a while, and I think I had an order roughly around this level, but I also had orders around $2, like a nice little round number, like back in this sort of time period. Not that time period, sorry, around here, sorry. This sort of area, I was like, added Nia. Yeah, I got a little bit around this point here, but I didn't actually get this low level around Christmas time, but I did get this level. So yeah, my dollar cost average, I can't remember if it's like $1.80, I think, my overall buy order for Nia, which isn't too bad. In the grand scheme, especially if it goes to like $8, $9, $10 again in the future, I'll be like, yeah, sweet, whatever. Cool, that'll do. Anything that's in Ethereum. I don't think anything's going to kill Ethereum, in all fairness. It's my personal thought on it. I think Ethereum in its own right is its own entity now. I think it's done incredibly well. However, please fix the fucking fees. Christ. Fees are awful. Nothing worse than the fees on it, like, ugh. But what we're seeing is a lot of Ethereum virtual machine entities, projects, blockchains, spin-offs, etc. that they're leveraging the network effect of that Ethereum chain, which is always good. Like of Avalanche, for example. I'd prefer Nia to go to $20. So. I think if I was to look at my portfolio, and like if you're interested in knowing what my portfolio is, I put an update every month on my YouTube members and also in my Patreon in terms of like what I have and what my ratios are. I'm going to do the update later on today. The funny thing is, right, if Nia went to all-time highs, if DOT went to all-time highs, and I think, what was the other one? I think Rose as well. I've put them three. It would significantly be different as a portfolio because I've gone a lot more risky this year. Versus previous years, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. I would stake. Depends on how you want to do it. Like the reality with staking on DOT is great, but the 28-day lockup is a bit shit. So I'm going to do mine in stages. So what I'm going to do is I'm staking 100% right now. When it gets to a certain price point, I'm going to remove my controller wallet to my available balance. So then I'm building DOT up and it's available at least if it starts going up. And then when it gets to a certain price, I'll start unstaking it all. And then I'm ready to, because I will bail out. I have no affiliation to any coin. I still love it, don't get me wrong. But if I've made 6-7 figures, I'm like, I'm not getting rugged by the market. Thank you very much. I will literally just go, right, I'll leave you alone for a while. I'll sit in stables, sit in cash for a short-term period and wait for things to settle down. And then I'll come back to it. Like I did that last cycle. I kept 20% DOT and then rebought back. I did the same with my BTC. Sold a chunk of it, came back to it, and all the other ones are kind of rotated into newer, better, different projects that I wanted anyways. So, and obviously the crowd loans and stuff, but you get nowhere by being fully in a altcoin forever because they're very different. They're not stocks, they're very different, you see. Bitcoin's probably the only one that's probably similar to it. So yeah, you can't. I get annoyed with bag holders. Like so many people come to learn crypto. It's like, oh, I made this. I got like 7 figures in 6 figures in a matter of like a year, and I never took a profit. It's like, what? I never took a dime. Like, now I'm sat here, I've lost like 800k. It's like, oh my God. It does, it makes your stomach churn. And I've been there. Like, my first cycle, if you've seen the video, went up to $2,000, up to half a million, quarter of a million essentially, in dollars, probably a bit higher than that when before I took the screenshot. And I just watched it melt and melt and melt. It's like, why didn't I just sell it? They owe me nothing. I did the hard graft. I did the buying. I did the research. You know, Christ. So yeah, you've got to remember you are a part of a vehicle of why it's moving up and why it's moving down as well. So, you know, the idea is to make money. And then we get the old question, well, but you can't sell it because of taxes. Well, don't be an investor then. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But all takes time. The thing with crypto is, and I think this is what catches people out, and it's kind of obvious, is the speed that it does it. It's very different. So yeah, this is why I think the emotions are much higher. Especially when we look at like DOT. Like, if that went to $25 with the amount of bag I've got now, I'd be very happy, because I've literally bought at $5, $4, $3, etc. in the previous cycle, popped off to I sold majority of it. I was pretty lucky, and I've rebought quite a lot lower down. I'm just staking it. I'm just sitting there staking it. You know, if it's $20 a pop and I'm staking the amount that I'm getting, it's like, dear me, it's like, oof, that's gonna suck on taxes. But at the end of the day, you've earned the right to have that problem. But yeah, it'll be fine. It reminds me, actually, the old inflation emissions coming out. To be fair, it's not too bad. Could be a lot worse, this. A lot of people flapping about this. But quite a lot of them is staking rewards, which is fine. But the thing with Polkadot is you've got to stake to kind of remain, not so much up, if that makes sense, but the staking rewards are projected to end based on assume a 10%. So it will change over time. That will kind of change a little bit. But at the end of the day, if this keeps going up in value over time, cycles, and the network effect grows and more power chains you get, it's going to be pretty nice. So bull cycles, bear cycles, rotate. Glimmer's another one. Slowly starting to curve off now. By January, I think. Yeah, January, December time, it starts getting a lot less heavy. So who knows where these will go. I am going to do more content about Polkadot if anyone is interested. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more in stuff like that. Certainly, I will be... I did say this last time, but potentially investing in a couple of DOT projects through my crowd loans. Basically, I've got a load of crowd loans that I've obviously been in since 2021. I will get that money back. I've not had it for a very long time, so I'm just going to use it, I think. Maybe on like 2 or 3 other parachains, some low ones that haven't got much sunlight, and just as little plays, maybe a couple hundred DOT in each one, and see what happens. See what happens. Who knows? One of them might pop off like a rocket. There's some decent projects out there, though. But the dominant area is always the obvious. It's price. Price has been battered. 5k DOT would be decent. Be a nice little... is that tokens or dollars? Because 5,000 DOT's quite a decent chunk. Long as you sell it at the right point. Well, I wouldn't say the right points, but if you can sell it like anything above $30, $40, bloody heck. Let's have a little look at the coin perspective while we're here, because we might as well get a bit excited about certain things. Oh, Tezos. Go away, Tezos. Polkadot. So, yeah. Even if we're looking at, say, hold on, a $30 DOT, I would be pretty excited with, to be fair. Still a decent chunk. Especially if you've got, how many was it? 5,000. So yeah, you can turn 27k potentially, whatever average price, into $150,000. It's not bad, is it, for a high cap coin? And that's only $30. May never hit $30. I may become a meme, but you get the idea. You know, sometimes you've just got to look at, wow, that's pretty. Like, I know it sounds daft saying it, but comparing it to the stock market, unless you are really buying into some really weird and wonderful penny stocks or some random cyclical tech stocks with like new inventions, whatever, you know, reality is you're going to find that kind of return pretty hard to come by. But even if it gets to 55, like, that's crazy numbers. So yeah, my average is, I can't remember. I think it's $4 something. It's pretty nice. Yeah, BNC will be better for gains, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more likely to go wrong with BNC. This is why I've only got a very small amount. So if people don't know this, I'm an investor in BNC. It's got a very, 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 very small fucking hell. Look at them numbers. As you can see, it's got a very small market cap. Actually, this is incorrect. I think they've got about 34 million out. However, I think it's all right, but it could go wrong. This is why 2% of my portfolio is literally in BNC. I think its all-time high was $8. I mean, if it goes to $8 and you got $1,000 in at current prices, give or take, it's $40,000. It's pretty cool. But yeah, Bifrost is like liquid staking for Polkadot. So if you think liquid staking and you think Ethereum, this is obviously liquid staking essentially with like Lido and Rocket Pool, etc. There's $40 billion in that right now. You can do the exact same thing on Bifrost. Where is it? I'm not here to shill, I promise. But it's BNC, not BFC, by the way. So if you click on Binance, the Bifrost website, sorry. Cross-chain liquidity staking. It's going to have 9 chains. Pretty decent, really. So yeah, you can see there's potential here for it to do very well. Keyword here, potential. Has to deliver the loot. But it's only like 4 million market cap. But obviously people are actually using it and staking. Obviously this one quite low. That's a native token. But there's still people using these. It's pretty cool, really. But yeah, moving on. So if this obviously goes to the moon, and that would be a market cap of 163 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it might not be a lot. It might go much higher, or it might fail. So if we're saying $36, say, under $1 billion, that's 180x. It's ridiculous numbers, isn't it? Really, it is. But the way I have my portfolio, we're talking about Altseason, we're talking about cycles, etc., have a low cap in there that you believe in. This is one of mine. I've only got 2% of my risk in here. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. It's one of those things. But as you can see, there's a lot of upside here. And if this genuinely is going to be a really good liquid staking platform on Polkadot, on multiple chains, in a very, very bullish market, who knows where it goes, right? And if you have got, like, say, 25,000 other bloody things, and you put $5,000 in, you could make close to $1 million. Just saying. Who knows? But yeah, there's a lot more risk to reward in here, but there's a lot more risk. A lot more risk. Oh, crowd loan. Sorry, I'm just going down the rabbit hole now. Bear with me. What am I looking for? Parachain.info, isn't it? So... hold on, I'm going the wrong way here. Ooh. You know what puts me off this project is a name. Sorry, but it does. Puts me off. So for one dot, you get 2 plus DEX or PDEX, or however it works. 8 million market cap. It's pretty crazy to think how many decent I think there's a lot of decent projects on here, personally. But they all need to kind of do its thing. I just wish I had a better name. It's a decent ecosystem already. But yeah, I'm going to fall down the rabbit hole very, very soon and look for a lot of Polkadot projects. Aave, yeah, Aave could be decent. Legacy, DeFi, isn't it? Expensive fees. If the fees are sorted, it'll be alright. Oh, Kasama crowd loans, no idea. Personally, I think Kasama is pointless. Well, it's not pointless, but the token's pointless. We'll see a lot more projects on, obviously, the Polkadot parachains, the ecosystem. So yeah, it's not great at the minute. But yeah, there's some unbelievable projects on here. To be fair, I've not even looked at Casper, to be fair. I've looked at part of it. It looked alright then, but I won't be buying anything else for a while. This one's decent. I like Clover Finance. It's got a decent look about it. A-Star is obviously brilliant. Alpe Zero, or however it's said, is a very decent project. Hydra DX is also very decent. There's quite a few. There's quite a few on here. There's a lot to keep on top of. I think Crust Networks is very decent too. Yeah, so much. I'm not too keen on the is it Mark or whatever it's called? Or, yeah, RM. It's not my thing. I'm not really into NFTs, metaversey sort of projects. That's just my personal opinion on it. But that's just the way I am. Just never really been into them. But I do need to watch, and I said this before in my Patreon, just before, I need to watch some of the videos regarding the Polkadot Decoded. Yeah, I've still got Moonbeam. Moonbeam's alright. Whether it makes me millions or not, I don't know yet. Should have a little look. What was it? All-time high is a bit of a weird one. Even if it goes to $10, crazy numbers. Crazy numbers. A lot of people talk about Moonwell quite a lot actually at the minute. I get that on every single Polkadot tweet I do. I get, what about Moonwell? But yeah, I've never really looked at it, to be fair. It's just a DeFi protocol, isn't it, for Moonbeam? Yeah. It's pretty decent looking, though, isn't it? But yeah, a lot of people really like this. Powered by Moonbeam. So this is a thing that's like perfect situation why if this does well, Moonbeam will probably do well as well. Especially if there's a lower dApps on it. And yeah, if DOT does well, if DOT does well, then most of the ecosystem of the layer ones on the parachains will do well, obviously. It's kind of obvious, really. And then you've got all the DEXs and all the dApps and all the other bits and pieces within each chain, because they're all layer ones pretty much. Smart contract platforms will do well. And we'll see how things go. Carla was the one that was like supposed to be the absolute best, and then it just died. Oh wow, I could probably sell some of my crowd loan now. I've still got some of the crowd loan of this. Sheesh. It's got a lot of money going through it. This was like the biggest flop though, let's be fair. This was the one that really died. Because it did the AUSD and it just didn't peg at all. Didn't peg. Yeah, Qcoin will be doing forced KYC just because of the most obvious thing in the room, which is the SEC. It's for Americans, I think. For Europeans, I don't know if it's that forced. I don't know yet. I already do like a series like that in my Patreon, Luke. It's called the Earner Portfolio. I've picked 5 assets. I put $1,000 in each, so there's $5,000 in it. We're just going to see what happens. So check out my Patreon if you're interested. I mean, Akala, top 40 volume, that is, well, I can see it, 64 million. That's quite a lot for a very low cap coin. I mean, as you can see, it's up 64% in market cap in the last 24 hours. That's crazy. And has there been any news that's came out other than the fact of whatever this is here? Oh no, that's 5 months old. Shut up, Ash. Come on now. I don't know if there's been any news. Because things just don't rocket like that. But hey ho. It'll be nice for my crowd loan to be worth something in like a year's time though, because I was thinking about selling it, but there's probably no point. I might just hodl for the bull cycle and then see what it gives me. But I probably wouldn't buy anymore. I've committed to Moonbeam as my main crowd loan. The other ones, I only did 3 in total, so it's not like I've been going through it mental levels. Well, that's good that she's doing something, because I genuinely thought that was going to be the worst crowd loan by far. It was, personally, like you've probably seen on the crowd loan data, I think it had the most amount of contributions. It was into the billions. It was a ridiculous amount of dollars, and it just didn't really take off. It didn't obviously the price was going to be a problem anyways with the crowd loans and the way they came out, but the AUSD and the platform just didn't get any use at all, and it just flopped. So whether or not it does its thing, we'll see. Oh, here's Alice, look. Stop asking me what tokens I like and what I don't like. It literally says in the pinned comment, don't ask me, because I will ignore you. If I've got 20 grand, how are you distributing it into your portfolio? Slowly is usually the answer. A lot of people have, like, say, a lump sum, or they've had a house sale, an equity release, whatever it may be, and they go right into like 3 coins, and then they wonder why it goes wrong. So with regards to that, I always say to people, just pick a time area and slowly just drip feed it into the market where you can get maybe better prices or a safer entry. Because if you buy in, like, say, if you're going to split that into 4 and you got 5 grand lumps into 4 coins, for example, and you buy at the wrong time and you're losing like 50% overnight, you're going to feel pretty shit, to be fair. So you got to be very, very careful. Do you think 20k is enough? No. Depends. Well, I say no. If you're following what I do, no. Because I don't go for the degen coins. I don't go for the lower cap coins. I go for the more tried and tested. But you will make decent money. If you time your entries right with 20k, you probably will do all right. But you probably won't make over $1 million, because that's stupid numbers. But some people do. Some people go and get a home run on something like Shiba or Doge or whatever, a freak of the market. Or like even SafeMoon. People were investing in SafeMoon ages ago, and it was absolutely snowballing, right? But if you're going for the likes of what I go for, you probably wouldn't. I mean, in the previous cycle, I had just more than 20k from starting off prior to all the shit that was going on in my life, and I didn't make $1 million. I came close-ish, but nowhere, like, not close enough, let's be fair. Depends what you buy. I mean, if you're looking at the top market-ish coins, but I've got a much more riskier spread this time. Last time I didn't really have much, but I say that Zilliqa last time, this is a good example. I put roughly $4,500 into Zilliqa. Whatever, I can't remember what the price was. It was it was just under a cent at the time. It was a decent chunk of money at the time, because it was going to be my Ethereum money, and I put it into Zilliqa, and that made me of $270,000 from 4,000. So that gives you an idea. but not all of my assets did that. And also some of the assets that I did buy, I didn't leave them long enough. Like I sold my VeChain a lot earlier. If I left my VeChain alone, I would have made even more. I probably would have made very, very close to that 7-figure sum off the back of literally 20 odd grand. But I never. Unfortunately, I sold very early. But it depends what you buy. I mean, I've even just shown you before. If you're looking at the coin perspective, like, you know, let's just say, I don't know, 2,600 into Glimmer, for example, goes to $10. That's already 100k, right? So it depends what you pick. It's so many open questions and so many, like, it depends on how big your Bitcoin stack is, it depends on how much your Ethereum stash is, it depends on how high they go, it depends if you're going to go more low cap than higher cap coins, it depends if you're staking, it depends how aggressive you are on profit taking. It's very subjective, but as I say, I've done very well through cycles. This will be my third, and every single time I'm compounding, I'm using my profit to reinvest low. I took quite a lot out into cash this year, last cycle, sorry, to diversify more, but I've still got a decent chunk kicking about. But it's all risk. For me, it's risk-free. This is why people go, but you went in really early. It's profit. It doesn't matter. You know, staking. Yeah, the missus is all right. She's good. She's healing now, thankfully. I don't like new projects because their emissions are too high. Simple answer. Timing. Timing is key. So you could argue that Glimmer is a new layer 1 for me because it didn't really come out at the right time. It came out at the wrong time. So that technically could be one. Yeah, token unlocks. So you think, like, look at ARB, for example, right? It's got, what is it? 10 billion. So when we look at this, it is officially technically worth, like, it's a $12 billion asset. I mean, it could do well, but there's a lot of risk there. A lot of risk. So we'll see how things go. But no, I'm not really into new projects like that because I think VCs are taking the piss now. So it's a bit crap, really. So I like to wait for projects that I've already kind of done their unlocks. So this is why I like Nia now. Nia's like a lot less coming out of Nia if you look at the token unlock. So if I go on to Nia, for example. So when we look at theirs, it's already here. It's like by the time you get towards like peak bull cycle vibes, it's like most of the stuff is pretty much out there. And if it is bullish selling, it's not too bad because it's going to get soaked up by liquidity. It's all about timing. And if you were buying it down here where some people were, it was obviously going to go up. And I was buying a lot later. So I'm happy to wait off here, but you can see how aggressive it went and then it slows down quite a lot eventually. But it's the same with all the assets, you know. Let's have a look at ARB again. There you go. So when this starts bleeding, it's going to bleed very, very, very aggressively. And a lot of them go out to invest in the team. So yeah, it's all about what you're picking and when you're picking it and why you're picking it, really. So even though there's quite a lot of days away from this, are we going to see a massive uptick in price if there's no bull cycle? Probably not. But you'd rather buy into that when some of the stuff's already been drained out. But timing is everything, really. This might be all right because of bullish selling. Might absorb it a bit better. But not in a bear cycle. Oh, what else is happening on here? I know there's a new section of this as well. Solana was a bit of a freak. So Solana had I think a lot of pumpage via FTX. Matic was a little bit different. But with Solana, look at that. It's ridiculous. That is crazy, by the way. This was a bit of a weird one. I've always said it was the speed that came out was ridiculous. Same with Matic. It was very much a big rebrand at one point. Let's have a little look. So this one, yeah, it was aggressive enough, but this one had time in. So this was going back from 2019. And yeah, there's quite a lot of chunks gone out, but it's stopped now. So we'll see how it runs on its own. But yeah, I mean, I remember talking about this back in these days, like 2019. I was so annoyed. And then it was every single day. It was like, India's banning cryptocurrency again on the news. Oh, for God's sake. And then it rebranded itself and went over to another country, and it just took off like a rocket. But no, it's hard to time vesting. You don't want to be at the wrong time of it, but at the same time, you want to be aware of it. If that makes sense? So this is why I like some of the parachain ones now, because a lot of the emissions are gone, a lot of the weak hands are out, and then it's just fair game. It's like when it goes up, there's no selling pressure, and then you'll start getting that hype quickly. Whereas if you've got stuff like this, and it took a time to get going, but once it did go, it was obviously very, very apparent what it was. But if you've got a lot of tokens getting dropped on you as it's just starting to get moving, it kind of sucks, really. But it's kind of at its full capacity now. But we'll see how things go. Trying to think. ICP is an interesting one. That came out like a dog's dinner, that. Let's have a little look, actually. I don't think it's on here. So, if you recall, a long time ago, 2 years ago, this was released. This was chaos, by the way. This was brought out, and it was like rank number 6 or something daft. It was really high, and then I think all the tokens just got released at once, and it just absolutely chaos. But when you look at it, it's actually like the team, the size of the team, what they're aiming to achieve. It's absolutely ridiculous. I just think it was the worst launch I've ever seen. That's pretty much what happened. So yeah, I can see why people are really interested in it. Because it could do very well, and the price point of it's so low now. It's absolutely mental. Learning crypto has changed massively, so it depends on what you want to go for. So if you go on to the main website, you got courses here. So these are the courses. So you just buy the course, and then if you go over onto premium, that's just into WAP. So that's premium. They're both different things. But I think if you go onto the bear with me. If you go on to go onto the courses website, then go to premium here. There's another little side page here where you got more information, but existing members log in here, which will lead you to the premium platform. So yeah, it's all changed. There's just an extra step. I'm hoping we have another cycle before the full regulations take effect. Regulations take time. It doesn't happen overnight. We're still here. It's still 2023, and we were talking about regulations in 2019. So maybe we might see a last hurrah bull cycle for altcoins and maybe Bitcoin. Bitcoin probably the one that's slow. There may still be the degen, the meme coins, the metaverse, the NFT sort of hype every now and again, but it may be a little bit harder to kind of manage these days. But we'll see. I don't mind meme coins. Meme coins are alright. It's where the money is. It's where the interest peaks. What is the volume actually? Bear with me. Pepe. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a lot of people get into the market due to coins like this, which is quite fun. But I wish I got involved in a couple of them. Like, I mean, to be fair though, I was a Doge investor years and like 2017 vibes. I was a Doge investor, but I gave up on it after like 6 weeks or something stupid like that. When I was a newbie, and I was playing around with altcoins, downloading blockchains and software on my computer. Good times. But yeah, lots changed since then. But yeah, people are getting very annoyed with the SEC. I understand why. I'm just hoping someone can sue them properly and just get them bloody put back in a box. They're gonna. I think the SEC eventually, or someone within the government, will get pissed off with the fact of what's happened, and if it means that the American economy is going to suffer a little bit because they've never really taken crypto seriously and they're behind versus Europe, I think someone will get, a slap. Gotta really. I mean, to kill crypto, you kill it very early. You don't try and kill it when was worth a couple of $1 trillion. It's a bit daft, isn't it? A whole decade. Whole decade to get an ETF, and BlackRock come in and trying to swing their bollocks around, and we'll see if that works, but we'll see. BlackRock don't tend to get many. I think they've only had one ETF rejection in their whole lifespan, so probably be a second, because I can't imagine the first crypto one that they do will get accepted. I've just got a feeling it won't happen, but we'll see. Good old Boris. He's a fan of a lot of things, actually, old Boris. Likes cheese as well. I appreciate it, Ant. Everyone's different. There's a million ways to skin a cat, polish a turd, whatever you want to know it as. Some people get it right, some people get it wrong, some people are late, some people are early. Doesn't matter. Personally, I don't use volume. I've never really been a big volume fan. Some people love it, some people hate it. What I find with volume is it can be a lot of wash trading, certainly in crypto, because it is an unregulated market, obviously. So when you look on like a coin market, you're going to see a lot of decent volume, but you're going to see a lot of shit volume. So I think, yeah, further down, you can see all these asterisk ones. They're like not trusted volume. Coins like this doesn't really matter as much because there's a lot of big hype in other big markets, but you don't really want to be a part of something that's got like fake volume and it catches you a wobbly and you get trapped into an exchange with low liquidity. But if you're using the top exchanges, it should be absolutely fine. But we'll see. I think you're right there, Bandit. An ETF will be the top of the next market. If we get, right, let's just paint a picture. Imagine if we go into like 2024, 2025, and like into 2025, and then we're already up loads, and then the ETF rumors start to come out that it may be accepted, and we fly up to the moon. That probably would be a sell trigger for me, if that happens. If Coinbase is ranked number 1 in the app stores, that's always a sell. If an ETF is going to be approved, that's always a sell. If influencers from freaking Kim Kardashian to whoever start coming in shilling NFTs, that's obviously going to be a big sell. If someone's selling a turd image and it's a JPEG NFT worth 3 million, that's obviously going to be a sell signal. So you just got to look out for it. So it'll be the videos you got to look out for. It'll be all that kind of stuff. And then an ETF approval will probably be one of them, especially if it's in 2025. If we get our first ever spot Bitcoin one, could be funny. I'm amazed no one's actually done a coin of my name yet. Like, because I'm like, I wouldn't say strict, but I don't tend to dabble with them that much. I provide facilities for people to learn. Like in the Learning Crypto Discord, there's a degen room, which is very, very successful. It's doing very well. But yeah, never really dabbled myself. There's a lot of videos on how to do them, which is crazy. It's like, oh, here's how to do it. And like, literally, people can make their own fortune overnight. It's like absolutely savage. but it's not really for me, really. But yeah, always good fun. I can't believe how much traction that Ben one got. That was crazy. Savage as well. Anyways, I'm going to shoot because it's getting very warm in here and I've got other stuff to do. But I've had a good hour and a bit here. But we'll see how things go. But the market's looking all right. It's going to be probably slow today. I'm not expecting to do much. But yeah, we'll see how things go. Remember, tomorrow the stock market is shut, so there may be volatility in the crypto market if that's going to be people getting bored and doing stuff. So bear that in mind. But the volume today is relatively high versus normal. I've only just realised I've got these lovely little things on it. So we're up 42%. I know it's a Monday and it was a weekend, but still a decent chunk to be fair. Anyways, appreciate it. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button if you want more live streams. I'll be back on Friday for a live. I'll be videos normally tomorrow and Thursday, I believe. And yeah, if you want some cool little emojis and signals and to be highlighted, etc., check out the little membership button.